This fall because obviously. Prepare and anticipate what may happen. To pass is always better to adapt to it. And react better and better surf this coming wave of historical event. I structured this live well so as to help as much as possible, but when we can, see clearly for those who discover me here. My name is Galatea, I'm a futurist. A futurist, what is he? Someone first of all who is a great spirit of synthesis, who analyzes a lot of data and which in a way trained to in this data analysis and draw from it a clear synthesis. For precisely shared this clarity on the future to his contemporaries with the maximum insight and precision and safety, so I'm trained in this exercise in futurology more since my earliest childhood, but it is not the topic here. Many times on this channel you can check it, my predictions are confirmed realistic, so I'll talk to you now this fall in 3 phases, and then I will leave plenty of room for questions that were asked on Facebook, so to organize the hair well. So the first phase we will see, it's called the happy post. The second phase, it is the putting under bars of guilty, and the third phase is fine. Be the shock for the co-creation of a new reality remains until the end. We go do an exercise together, one very positive exercise. You will see it at the end, so it's the secular purchase time, and you go to be invited several times, commented in, participating in exercises in, especially at the end of this live. So the first thing, what is important is to realize that when you miss, especially at the moment we compared to all the information that comes to us, and I'm not going to talk about Afghanistan. I will talk about Afghanistan in the next live will be the future. Afghanistan and the global impact of this future, but I think we will. Early September. But for once, if you want there, we can seize in this summer the information that, whether in the main media, in alternative media, are everywhere. Parts and we are lost, you see, and so a synthesis is essential, and when I tell you synthesis, I am very radical. To remove synthesis, therefore, the pot aux roses. The pot aux roses. You know what shocks it is to use the language of the birds, because I have really ambition to contribute as much as possible, and I have to use the system to broadcast. The edges do not know, so he comments. Also uses the language of birds. So the Institute no flowers. If you understand, we are not going to give him flowers. This Parisian Institute, which is very well known in particular for all who, too, is related to darts, and well, this Institute from the start, and I had it said in videos on this channel soon. 2020 Juliet is completely wet. Initially for the Coco Loco, and well, obviously also in the game, but it is not even a scandal. I said it. Coco Loco scandal, but this is the crime of darts in this institute. No flowers is really related to big monitor lizard, which is also wet, so no flowers, and what the big monitor is wet. A lot of money. Occult years, and is also involved, and so if you want this Coco Loco and its darts are completely tied in huge international networks, then I will say that I will, and I pay attention to words I use. That's why too that I took packs of embezzlement, not say a word more important, and hypocrisy, but obviously you understand that it goes beyond hypocrisy, so this is all going on of dismantling that we believe or not in, to the intervention of teams of the quench is strained from Donald EU. It is in the United States that we believe it or not, anyway it is dismantled in terms of energies, and it is very important to understand it at this level there, because well, futurology like a medium, and if you know, it is important to also look at what me and my data analysis I use well. Sure of my classics, but also I Connect to Marie de myth and contact. Different but also man, and so that allows to have like that a reading very fine at the level of energies, since this, which materializes in reality, is first materialize at the level of energies, is actually the word I had to bad to use, so I will see or engage. Birds are less well corruptors. If we're here, that's it, it's the pinnacle of hypocrisy, so all that which is globally widespread since the 10 and decades, that's what is energetically today, is no longer possible, because quite simply before you could control the information, and in some form I had a Malaysian aperitif like that with architects there is a good 20 years, and then we had done this diagram with a glass of champagne, where this information, which was pyramidal, with the intervention of the internet became horizontal, and Bombay everything. Manipulative management of energy information in the long term was no longer possible, and this is what pass if you want rather than wait. That Donald the Savior face, I do not know what, even if I think there are interventions at this level. It is important to read it at the level of energy, so clearly now is further as the first event marking this fall, and that this post Roses is discovered and publishes in France, which has a major role to play in this clarification of the situation. So I was going to say France is guilty, but it's not there. France and the French, of course, this is the direction at the highest level, and it is under Pato Roses there, which is discovered with the Institute No Flowers, her connections with the macaroon is the big monitor, breaks of the big monitor and all embezzlement at the level of the money that they take place, hash around, and all that. Really I feel it. You see, it's really felt is very, very strong, which the aged SHDM appealed to. Mediumship is really at the level energies, it becomes impossible to dock it, even if many people getting down to it, and all that is in the process of pull up what it's like a bubble, and champagne for once putting on chilled champagne, which is impossible to stop. Here it all comes out, unfortunately, with consequences to all levels on health. I have forgot to tell you like that. Populations, of course, with well-being, you see, I mean being. But it goes way beyond that of those who played darts, but also, even if you didn't play darts, if you want, compared to all current events, compared to all these constraints in relation to all these conflicting information, all this chaos, if you didn't come without for the human being, and the human being needs consistency. The human being needs to be able to project the human being to flourish, me to have a clear sound reading, medium-term and long-term future of, to be able to build, prepare, establish things, and therefore at the level, if you want health. Physical is intimately linked to health. Mental is therefore very aggressive for our sanity. All this chaos, all these inconsistencies, that's why I give my time and energy to this channel to share adjustment, a clear vision of the future, and logical and coherent information, and using all our creativity in you. See, in this language of birds is a extraordinary creativity that is us, given to take back our power, to communicate change.
Ça va d'abord être une petite plante et puis après un jeune arbuste. Donc c'est comme ça aussi que ça se développe à l'automne. Donc le deuxième événement marquant de cet automne, de ce qu'il va se passer, c'est l'arrestation des coupables. Alors l'arrestation à tous les niveaux, puisque tu as un jugement humain mais tu as un jugement divin. Donc tu peux avoir, tu vois, quelqu'un à un moment donné par rapport à des révélations peut très bien faire, alors malheureusement pour cette personne, mais si tu veux un arrêt cardiaque soudain, plutôt que de devoir affronter la réalité et de devoir être jugé. Donc quand je te dis on arrête les coupables, tu vois,
the end of policies, and this at the level French also at international level. No more TV sets will be theirs. Accessible since I don't even think of. This level there a lot of movement and even Frozen announced for 2 years, you can watch it on the channel of taken squarely from and therefore occupation of TV shows, but there it can also contributed to chaos and hardship. Positive visualization of the future. Many of our contemporaries therefore remain. 11th therefore second major point 4. Prepare well for the events of this fall is to understand that it's the end of politics, it's the end of the demo. It was not at all one democracy when it was a demo. Bureaucracy to manage herds of slaves, therefore all policies and all supporters of the demo bureaucracy are wet, so not all people, of course there are also some people who are well-intentioned and which will be easy to identify. But they are all wet, you see, and were all that was important, and we will realize it more and more is that many administrations are man-made, and all this will drop by step, and it will fall how I do it. See also from the angle of a judgment divine with a given moment when you are in this type of beaten administration and not even what you already have. You are already in a certain submission. So it is very likely that you are subjected to all these darts successive, and that already you are not extremely fulfilled and in your life by compared to everything you do against your clean humanity, against your own heart. And suddenly I think there may be a lot of sudden departure from to the consequences of darts in this administrative staff, and therefore quite simply it also falls more easily like this third point that I want to address in this live, which is very important. It's the shock I want to prepare you for and prepare myself by the same opportunity, since I am trying to set up different tools for that we can make this shock one a positive springboard for the future that wants that way you want one when you are accustomed like that. It's a little bit like when you leave your parents' place. You realize that, well, you have to manage your shopping alone. Who has to make your bed alone? We will be a little so if you want, as we will have the end of politics, the end of all two of all this tutelage. In fact, for say it clearly, we will have to organize in relation to these falls that will be uncertain back. It reminds me to give you a picture of the par example fall 1945. So yes, there war was over, but beyond that liberation was real. But we are found a little bit with a lot many uncertainties, many fears, economic, so difficulty, so it will not be obviously a field of bounty ruins in 1945, except that it is still a worldwide shock phenomenon of release. And you know, people like when you get out of prison a little staggering, shocked by the light. So there, that's why I think we're called more and more, we see it to ourselves to assemble, to manage this liberation and this reconstruction all together by group according to our values, our affinities, and we will pretend from group to group. Here is the good news is that, well, by Christmas then it's very hard for one futurologist to give dates, since if you want everyone to have their free will, even politicians even have it, the forces of darkness, the demons have two choices and timings, but very clearly, so I could be wrong, that can be done a little later. But obviously the turn pushes to synthesize that by Christmas this time, even though last year I was deceived with this time. Really all that happened is like stop these excessive contractions for a very real deliverance, brings us to full release by the end of the year, by Christmas, with the end of the coconut loco, the end of the past the end of darts. But I'm telling you, we all go out a little dazed by the situation then. Economical, even if there may be partial depending on the sector. You see, I see big signs collapsing. I obviously see small businesses that were people in difficulty not recovering, but maybe rebuild differently. Elsewhere on new bases, but in. Anyway, we'll have to surf like that. Positively on a positive co-creation. Individual and group to build. What comes next and who is? Rather positive, since in fact we are. Free, he placed me in slavery, useless, and we didn't need as many. Control over our lives, over our health. Our dailies, therefore. I can't do all the live shows that are to do for the future in just one. We'll speak widely on this channel in the reconstruction of a desirable future, but already know that the third future event, after base end, to its justice of men and of divine justice to stop them, guilty in one way or another. But the third step will be this fall, this late fall or before Christmas, a kind of hot like that for get used to this new reality. To get by is the exercise we are going to do now, which is very important to get by it. You have to project yourself in order to project yourself into the future, and in a desirable future it must already understand what is happening to what I share with you here. I hope the sound is good and we are projecting by understanding what is happening. Of you two becoming a futurist, and you also visualize the continuation, and for visualize the continuation when there will be like that. I want to tell you, I'm listening to you, I'm talking to you, Kashan, sorry. To be is cash, but of the two are, you see, not what we're going to be in a climate of mourning. There will be a lot of departure. There is going to be an atmosphere like this one. Little heavy, but I don't know if it was already happened to me. It happened to me personally, even therefore. Burials, even in deaths, even in vigils of deceased people. You can have moments in measure where you are connected to the divine, or who is connected precisely with these people in the invisible, and with the help of the reception of these people there in the invisible, you can have very funny moments. Funny, and you can also feel more. Wish you could ever have two moments like this, extremely present to the reality of the relationship. Human of human love. So when you will go through a period like this, delicate, to write a letter to yourself in the future, it's something extremely useful that allows you to say that you see the Galate anyway, where it is a quality that is there, waiting for you at the other end of the tunnel at Christmas. So you see, made there also for you with your first name, and this is the exercise we are going do now. Are you ready for a visualization? Okay, so drink what I'm going do also. My nose is a little stuffy. Inspired. Breathe in several times, breathe out. Connect to the present, you see I am. Connects to the magnificent sea people facing to the flowers, I don't know if you see them. We shall close our eyes. I keep my eyes open so I can continue. In The Hague now we project a roof in the future for Jatoy with this ending. Politics, it's over, there are more macaroons, there are more big monitor, there are more than fifth. We no longer need all these excessive administration, in which complicates our daily life, which we waste energy and time for nothing. Visualize this end of the demo. Bureaucracy of all those lies that we have been serving us for so long. Years. Visualize as having been worn by the time, carried by the wind, washed away, carried away by the fire, carried by the earth. Visualize how much compared to all these events, to all these shocks, individual and collective, we free ourselves. Everyone. We free ourselves to new possibilities, new careers, creation of new relationships, New ways of loving Noah, but to take care of our health, to protect our children no matter what. Come, body and soul for the future, our children. It's the future. Visualize this force, this energy. Collective to protect this future. Feel this connection that we all have together in this energy. Positive for co-creating this desirable future. Visualize all these new jobs. It's myths, all these new ways to work, to meet, to exchange. Already visualize at the energy level all this abundance that is offered to us differently. Feel there that this fullness is. Feel this love, this energy of love. Uphill. And who drives away fears or no longer love is where the fear decreases. Connect this energy of love. Positive without reunion, without this heat. But pictures. Keep this image. Maybe from the background of this video. Clear in this symbol. Choose a symbol. A word. Which belongs only to you. Keep this image. Keep that feeling too, how you feel you now. Keep this feeling well, because this feeling is really you know. Like your jumbo feather, the elephant. Flying, we are going to do things extraordinary this fall. Together here on this channel, and then in our lives in general, and we don't believe that we can fly, we don't believe that we can change job, we don't believe we can oppose, we don't believe we can resuscitate, even if we played darts in this feather. My son got me offered a feather, I don't have one there, but I will show you next time. This feather, the A6, is the symbol of the peel, a long-time symbol to you, like Jean Bod, the flying elephant that will give you the confidence in this desirable future. To fly to liberation. To fly. Purred in abundance, to fly to your success, to fly to newfound love. For you greens your freedom. This is your way to peace. This is my way to peace, it is our way to peace this fall. And that's what I wanted to share, and in this video. Before going to questions for those which are not yet in my share private, you see the exercise suitable to do in public, and you see all the language of the birds that I use to be able to communicate. Imagine that I am a lot more free in a private share where I go very, very far. So the first of things we do together in this private sharing, there are many messages to pass is all ready to be well at daily. It is the base located well daily in his home, on your sleep, on your food, especially a contribution energy on all you can do people on a daily basis. CDD small video is implanted 1 or 2 minutes with very simple tips and things you already have in your house is already in this private sharing. You are going secure your daily life. Then I will share a tool and time frame to free from the past, cleanse oneself. Also at body level is very important for health, because emotions, toxics from the past are also stored in my existence in our wallet, and all that I will sharing we share private. And the third part of this private sharing, it's just very ugly, this future we transport moment GPS. I love it. You have to be hydrated. Warm said yesterday to a member, you see art, your hand will answer you with yes or with no. Me, it happened to me on things become clearer, but I tell you all that in my private sharing. You can also prepare if you have no battered child, can communicate with your future children, with your future grandchildren. Are you preparing professional meetings or personal, and especially before? Go to questions now. Private sharing, that's also why I do them. I share you as a bonus. I have it really put as a bonus, because I know that not everyone is ready, but I share another possible vision with you from where we live in the Wan and the Sun Moon land of the divine connect to the human, and we think this vision will be everywhere world inside, but I think I am a little bit had against weak, and therefore suddenly here I am sharing in private. I had tried to share it for free to friends. That's why I designed this sharing private as a path, in fact, in the simple act of paying 110 paid to pay achievement, singing in English, wages paid to pay attention here is because if we give you a book for free, you go Not necessarily read it if you buy it, you have an intention you have chosen, so you go ahead with the book. It's the objective of this private sharing, and then it also supports my efforts on this chain to go further and further with you in the fall. Compared to everything, what will happen, I will prepare some coaching of current coaching according to our goals that will help us. Here I am. Think I can hydrate is over. To Facebook questions, then on Facebook. Why? Because if you know, I am extremely focused. When you do that and I can't answer questions, live game, I refuse me, because that would make a transmission of information a lot more messy, and then having the advanced questions I can prepare constructive responses. So I think there were 51 question I will not be able to answer to 51, but I'm going to answer the main ones, and then after I will answer in private as much as possible questions. So already in the questions you saw 86 question there since earlier. So I don't say the number of families expressed, but it is Isizaki cursed. You see, and solo mom, she has a 2-year-old, and obviously they want to avoid anything by compared to Dart. So what I answer, Isa, it's very, very important. A short time to quality of the love and the setting you offer him. Chosen for mom, you know more o our children we choose, so keep it good with you, because if he chose you, is that he trusts in your protection. He knows you can protect him beyond even from what you yourself know about your ability to protect it. So let's avoid everything. What is communities if you feel that it will be mandatory, or even if you see 2 years and the little ones, even staff who play darts in nurseries, for example, can be dangerous for the little ones. So there, the ideal is to be able to keep it in the home if you can't work in it. Keeping it is necessary to organize oneself by creating network. Today, internet tools can greatly speed things up. To create a solo mom network in the same situation as you, if only as a comment on this video, comment each time under this type of announcement you see, you can create a practice for give in and avoid. Obviously you would condemn his future too, this child, and then even if there are placebo lots, the risk is roulette Russian. You will not play roulette Russian with a young child. Here it is, and it is clearly harmful, and then I will talk about it. Also, compared to schools, I have them already said, but I didn't say like that. So in the shade, it's difficult to say, but I saw it is that compared to the speech of the macaroon when he supposedly walked rear over darts for schools, in fact, are completely hypocrite, because there is a will by test report with a cotton swab if you want to pass the product of the darts anyway. If you want at the beginning, it is cotton swab that. Watch videos how play darts on herds of cattle from your 2 cattle. In fact, they inoculate them so as not to use it. Famous words like that with his cottons rods there, and now it's used on human cattle, so it can be you see on occasion of tests, because for me it was his cotton swabs then, even if there are some that are classic. But you see, there was this famous one president, unfortunately, who has us left in country, so I'm wrong all the time in the country. I don't if it's on Zimbabwe, who had taken the test like that of cotton swab on a papaya to 1 goat, and it was positive. You came back. See, so I was officially contaminated at his side by trapping, so that can be the case also with respect to cotton swabs used as a surprise and wild in settlements. School.
Donc ça peut être le cas aussi par rapport à des cotons-tiges utilisés de façon surprise et sauvage dans des établissements scolaires. Donc moi, voilà, j'ai prévenu mes enfants qu'aucun coton-tige ne les approche, quoi qu'il arrive.
So I see there I warned my children that no whole ribs I do not approach whatever happens I don't want to take too long on each question. Otherwise we will not get out. Is any way we are there I'm going. Make life regularly I am here. There are and 20 I drink a little bit that. Ask those questions about the Belgium. So I wanted yes I make it bread but. Because I am wrong yes really thank you. Thank you to all Belgians to all. Canadians all Quebecers all. French who follow me who are. Recently subscribed it makes me very pleasure to see the community grow and broadcast to see the number of shares of these extraordinary therefore for the Belgium and go I had already set in. Others live and then I tell them. Yes so not to say the government you see. What they lie Belgian obviously in. Their madness they will follow the madness. Because he is in distress in fact the macaron one but good at the Belgian level. Luckily you know they'll do with it. A little late and like that like. This is all meant to end this. Delay there will also be the case in Belgium. But as there is going to be a drop. TD sure. I think you understood but it will be. Also the late case on Belgian administrations therefore if it is necessary. Be careful it will be the case. Also I will talk about it in the future of Afghanistan and the next live there. Must pay attention to false expectations of the state underground if you understood me with fakes. Flag you see it. There will clearly be a fall also a involvement in mine not at all. Royal family in Belgium but of a part many truths. Underground will also exit by compared to ped networks and so on. Are going to make a hell of a fuss in Belgium and Belgium is going to be a lot of movement or to reorganize. Thereafter in Belgium so I had talked about it a long time ago. On the channel of the future with the new French leader of the program. Extraordinary agriculture from school to 3 levels of the 2 families of the backs. To parents to children. Facebook your profile and so it allows me to answer but you see how long it takes. Took me I can't do this for everything. The world I will spend my days there and midnight. That's why there are these meetings. 1-to-1. So yes you are on the right track that's for sure that's what I'm telling you. Then yes. The professional situation will change. But the message I got very strong for you. Lawrence see so I say your name for that you recognize yourself Lawrence. Francois it's simple you. You are very professional you are very serious very ambitious it will work. But don't complicate your life too much. Simple fact goes straight to the point and above all. Especially I see you I don't know if you do already but it is most often possible in the sun also. Registrations in the sun for long stays. And little by little yes I think you can leave Belgium part of year. Live abroad lived in the sun. Or return to Belgium for another part of the year here but I really have these 2 messages for you make it simple and sun. Yeah they're Fanny who tells us is this. That darts while not Anita. Use your not use the language of birds you see and then we imagine the thing jumps it's lost for everyone. World so Fanny therefore darts years. Which replaces the word you used. Is it going to be mandatory for children under 6 is what the teachers will do so she told you graft. Strike yes, it will be madness, yes, yes of.
Tu es sur la bonne
School way for what they were learning.
Ça, c'est sûr, c'est ce que je te réponds.
At school, you see me, it is.
Oui,
A friend there who helped me who spends a hour with my son while my son he
professionnel va changer.
went to speech therapists. Finally, I
Pour toi,
tell you because it cost me schools,
Laurence,
private and everything, but just with a
reconnaissent Laurence.
well-intentioned person an hour per day. He has progressed more than these three
Tu es très
last years, you see, so yes, he goes.
ça va marcher.
Have a lot of right of withdrawal at
Fais simple, va
teachers level, a lot of
surtout, je te vois
pancakes by school staff,
déjà, mais aller le plus
a lot of departures also because there are
des incursions.
an oracle playing darts and by our side, so it can be a bit
Oui, je pense que tu peux quitter la Belgique une partie de l'année,
complicated here. I will not be able
à l'étranger,
do all the questions.
ou revenir en Belgique.
Also, Valerie, so whenever there is
Mais j'ai vraiment ces deux messages pour toi, fais simple et soleil, soleil, soleil.
compliments and encouragement that don't help me what you imagine it is,
Fanny qui nous dit, est-ce que les
a lot of energy to share, all that.
utiliser le langage
So bah, that in this energy I have it for you.
truc saute, c'est
Also, finally, you see it is a
s'il te plaît. Donc les fléchettes, qui
virtuous circle.
utilisées,
So there was a question from Laurent.
les enfants de moins de
Will the zombies find
et est-ce que les
their joy of living?
alors elle t'a dit
So already thank you for asking the question.
grève,
Is so yes, there is going to be what I you
de toute façon l'école, pour ce qu'ils apprenaient à l'école,
said a lot of departures, but in fact,
qui m'aide, qui
if you want the people who were leaving, agree she couldn't
chez des orthophonistes,
go further, they can't.
ça m'a coûté
Precisely this desirable future.
juste avec une personne
But even those who played
par jour, il a
darts, or even those who were by
plusieurs années, tu vois. Donc oui, il va y avoir beaucoup de droits de
weakness on the wrong side of strength,
beaucoup de grèves,
may have revelations, may
beaucoup de départs
have a conversion can open their
qui ont joué aux fléchettes,
heart in a new or old shape
tout simplement,
of connection faith every 10 years and
rendu obligatoire.
suddenly receive grace and be healed, and
On va, tu vois, comme
to find joy is to serve.
que les enfants sont
Example, it's not because we played to darts that we are more or less
droite à gauche,
spiritual as someone who reads to play,
ce genre.
and even that I visualize it very well.
Donc de toute façon, l'école là pour cette
It's a bit like some finally.
donc
You see, you can have like that
ça dépend de ton encadrement, ça dépend
extraordinary journey of people, then playing darts and who
mais le pas
are going to share reconversions at
moi ce qui est
life.
c'est que aucune
Extraordinary energy, so everything remains
presque à 1 mètre
possible.
et je suis prête à tout.
So, who is going to replace the button? How are you? To be a governor who is lacking will not go. You see, provisional, and then after IU,
Sont aussi utiles. Donc pour faire une bulle de protection,
we'll do a special live. I don't want too much.
ça aussi au ski, c'est dangereux le ski pour mes enfants.
Announced here to many new
Pas fait de ski.
who have not seen my old ones
Pour l'énergie,
videos, but me when I created the
là, tu vois, je vais faire
chain. In fact, it started with a radio where I had his name Barack Tac Tac
mais je peux le faire aussi autour de
Tac Tac, and I couldn't take it anymore, and so
bulle de protection qui ne laisse filtrer que les
I said to myself, Galate, there it is not going, and so I took coaching, which cost me
simple que ça. Plus toutes les recommandations aux enfants.
a fortune, 30,000 euros, with Margot KHL,
Comme coton-tige,
and who Margot, my diva gala, was stopped.
que tu tapes, tu vas à tel endroit, tu me fais
Block sad and futurist, it is necessary that
et ce dans la mesure où l'école est ouverte et la rentrée se passe normalement, ce qui est
you share predictions in big up futurology to Margot. I said
Simone.
that Margot, she is in our walls, she has
Venir en France et en Europe en général, oui,
had a fall from a horse recently, so
mais c'est un peu comme une
I give him this entry very good
va être une guerre civile,
recovery.
va être sporadique,
Here's for the little story but short.
parce que
Honda, I cannot at so many things
force de l'ombre et à un moment donné nos
to say for the future. You can imagine that
côtés, donc ça peut
42 minutes is already very, very long, so I'll stop there.
pression.
Answer a few more questions here.
Piment et des enfants,
Next, live the future of Afghanistan
beaucoup d'énergie,
and the impact it will have globally over the entire area and especially in
énergie, je te la renvoie aussi, enfin tu vois, c'est un cercle vertueux.
comment but me your secular symbol
Une question,
and share widely. Share this video.
que les zombies,
This energy, this replay is the link to
alors,
my private sharing. I promise you in below just after this live there is
voir ce que je
really I prepared a challenge
beaucoup de
completely free of 100 days with
les personnes qui partent, elles sont d'accord, c'est qu'elles pouvaient pas aller plus loin.
5 free little videos that you
Justement,
allow you to discover its content is. Like that in conscience after 100. Beaten days will feel if you are ready to reinvent yourself with us where you are. And especially if this bonus calls. Because there are also energies like what I perceive but which are not. For me, if you want me, I'm just one transmitter, like you, like the tree, like the sea, like the air, like we have. Very quickly. Yes. 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 Love. 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 Ciao.
Donc, qui va remplacer le macaron? Ben, ça va être un gouverne qui mentira pas, tu vois, provisoire. Et puis après, ben, je te ferai un live spécial. Je ne veux pas trop l'annoncer ici. Il y a beaucoup de nouveaux venus qui n'ont pas vu mes anciennes vidéos. Mais moi, quand j'ai créé la chaîne, en fait, ça a commencé avec une radio où j'avais son nom. Tac, 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 tac. Et je n'en pouvais plus. Et donc, je me suis dit, Galatée, là, ça va pas. Et donc, j'ai pris un coaching qui m'a coûté une fortune, 30 000 euros, avec Margot Klein. Et qui, Margot, m'a dit, bah, Galatée, arrête de bloquer ça, t'es futurologue, il faut que tu partages tes pronostics en futurologie. Big up à Margot. J'avais dit que Margot, elle est dans le mur. Elle a fait une chute de cheval récemment. Donc, je lui souhaite un très, très bon rétablissement. Voilà pour la petite histoire. Mais bref, je peux pas... Il y a tellement de choses à dire pour le futur, t'imagines bien. Ça fait 42 minutes, c'est déjà très très long. Donc je vais arrêter là, répondre à quelques autres questions ici. Prochain live, le futur de l'Afghanistan et l'impact que ça va avoir mondialement sur toute la zone. Et surtout en commentaire, mets-moi ton symbole, like et partage largement cette vidéo, cette énergie, ce replay. Et le lien vers mon partage privé, je te le remets en dessous, juste après ce live. J'ai préparé un challenge complètement gratuit de 5 jours avec 5 petites vidéos gratuites qui te permettent de découvrir son contenu. Et comme ça, en conscience, au bout des 5 jours, bah, tu ressentiras si tu es prêt pour te réinventer avec nous, où tu en es, et surtout, si ce bonus t'appelle. Parce qu'il y a aussi des énergies comme ça que je perçois, mais qui ne sont pas de moi. Si tu veux, moi, je suis juste un transmetteur comme toi, comme l'arbre, comme la mer, comme l'air, comme le vent. À très vite. Yes, yes, yes. Love, love, love. Ciao.